Uh,
Welcome back to the Coach Show. It's episode 3 kicking off right now. Joining me, David Schuster, your head coach of the Mission Prep Royals. I'm Brian Stanley joining you. We're going to put Coach in the hot seat in just a little bit. Well, let's recap that big win from Friday night. That goose egg headed out to the Highlanders of McLane out of Fresno. The 37-0 win by the Royals to pick up the home opener. The third straight home opening win in 3 years, which is a tremendous feat for any team on the Central Coast to pick up 3 wins in their home opener on the season. Coach, talk about that big win, 37-0, and that bounce back from that 35-9 loss at Bakersfield Christian.
it was a great night for us. It's always great playing at home. Um, Great energy. The fans were amazing. The team just kind of had a sense of calm, I think, about them all week and all day. There's just something about being at home, man, that just kind of stabilizes some things, especially after kind of going 2 weeks of having to hear from everybody, all these different chirping comments, and rightfully so. We played terribly at Bakersfield Christian, so you kind of get what you deserve at that point. Um, and so I felt like the bounce back performance, especially defensively, tackling was night and day, so much better. Team pursuit was incredible. The team energy felt like our energy during the game was much better. Everyone just had a sense of like, I know my job. I'm going to do my job, and I'm going to trust I'm going to trust my brother's going to do my job or do his job as well. And so, um, offensively, really happy with a lot of the growth on all sides of the offense there. The offensive line, pass protection was uh, significantly improved. The run game looked way better. I think kind of going back to some fundamental things that we like to do in our program was very helpful for us. Felt like it was very helpful for Colby as well. Colby had a much better night. He had a lot of help too. He had time to throw. He had receivers running correctly and getting to their spots and catching balls. I just felt like in all phases we were the more physical team. We had better energy. Just really happy with the performance of the team.
Let's talk about the rundown of players. First off, our player of the game from Prep Sports Networks, Steven and I selected Mario Loera as our player of the game, playing both sides of the ball, making a huge impact on defense, especially. Talk about his performance Friday night.
I mean, Mario walked away with, I think it was 14 tackles, had a couple tackles for loss. Mario continues to be a major impact player on all sides of the ball for us. He's been that way for 4 years, and he also was our leading pass catcher in the game. Um, a lot of devastating blocks in the run game. He sets the edge for us really, really well. Um, he's a young man that has very quickly become someone we rely on for a lot of things, and he never fails. He's never really let the team down. He does an incredible job. He's a team captain for a reason. And Mario had a phenomenal football game. Very proud of him and his growth. He's doing some very special things.
And then another player we saw bust out with some big plays on Friday night was Aiden Dolan, picking up a couple sacks on the quarterback. Talk about that and his burst of energy that he brought to the game.
I think probably more than anybody else, the team was most excited for Aiden Dolan. It just felt like this was a long time coming for this young man. He's been working and struggling for 3 years, uh, trying to break into the starting rotation for a lot of different things. And I just felt like this year he's matured. He's had a lot of things go his way this year finally for him, and it was just a very very satisfying, very happy feeling to see Aiden Dolan finally have a moment where he was able to kind of showcase his athleticism. I mean, he's 6'4", 200 pounds. He's a very tough kid. He's a very athletic kid, and just to see him finally have a moment where he was really taking a lot of stuff away from them. Made it very tough for them to pass. He created a legitimate pass rush. Any play action play, he was a major threat to get into the backfield. Um, and that changes a lot of dynamics for us on defense. It allows us to do some other things in the secondary too. Kind of when you know you've got a pass rusher there, and I was just really, really happy for him, and I think everyone could kind of sense the energy that the team had about him too. You know, every time he had a sack, like the whole team went nuts. It was just this.
Yeah.
Everybody has a very special connection to that young man. Everyone's actively rooting for him, and rightfully so, man. He's been working a long time, and just very happy to finally see him have a good moment there.
Yeah, it was great to see that good moment. We were rooting for a hat trick there. Just came up a hair short on that hat trick. Probably a shoelace or two, to be honest.
Yeah.
He was there quite a bit. So let's move to the opposite side of the ball, where the points came from. First off, let's talk about the guy hopping on the wheels of steel there, and that's going to be our quarterback Drew Harrigan, or excuse me, our running back Drew Harrigan, and talk about his performance. He almost had a big break off, but they caught him down in the red zone for that shoestring tackle, literally inside the 5 yard line. That was tough that he didn't get to complete that big run. But talk about his performance and how he just was a bulldozer, knocking people over and taking people with him.
Yeah, Drew's a very, very special player, and I think everyone's known that since the day he was here as a freshman. We played Napomo and we played Tascadero during those COVID years or that COVID season, and Drew was really, really dynamic then, and he's just simply gotten better every single year. Really proud of him and his growth and his maturity. You know, last year he was kind of taking a backseat to Jack Susank, and rightfully so. It was Jack's time, and Jack was an All CIF player for us, All State player. Um, and for Drew to kind of sit there for a year and learn and find ways to support and actively work behind the scenes there um, and do what he did, I'm really really proud of him. And now it's kind of his time, and he's really taken the mantle. He continues to be the next in line of these great mission prep running backs that we have all coming through here, whether it's, Brian Cowell, Dalton Strauss, Jack Susank, Vance Rocha, Braden Farr. He's kind of now the next in line in that of these just really special, powerful, dynamic running backs who create a lot of problems for people because the first man is not bringing them down. And I think that's probably more than anything else. That's Drew Harrigan's kind of specialty is you put one man on this guy, Drew is absolutely going to break that tackle. I have yet to see. I think I've seen Mario. To be honest, Mario and David have squared him up once, but most of the time it takes for us on our defense when we're going our defense on Drew. It takes most of our defense to get there and rally and get him down. So Drew's a very very dynamic young man, and we're hopeful he can start to get past getting shoestringed at the corner of the end zone all the time, and he can actually get it in the end zone. He might be getting, he might be hearing that a little bit from the team, but he's really good.
And then finally, I want to talk about our quarterback pairing with our receivers. You had Drew, sorry,
Colby.
Kobe White there. We're getting everybody mixed up today. Kobe White is matched up with J.J. Howard and Tyler Garrett in the receiving spots. Talk about just that connection, especially with J.J. Howard last week, and how great that was. A lot of deep passes, a lot of the ball just moving around quite well in the pocket.
I was really, really happy with Colby. He hit a lot of different receivers. It wasn't like we focused on one kid. Everybody was a legitimate passing threat in the game. The fullbacks got the ball a couple times. Isaac Townsend, Mario, our tight end, obviously got the ball several times. Tyler Garrett, he's tight end and receiver. He's rotating back and forth. He got the ball multiple times, had a touchdown. JJ's a major deep threat for obvious reasons. There's very few athletes like him, and in the development of our program and the development of this team, it's important that everybody is getting touches, that we're able to go through all the progressions in the passing game and hit the right individual. Felt like Colby, for the most part, did a very good job of that. At times, he kind of jumped certain things or made a wrong read here and there. That happens. That happens every game. But we wanted to see Colby develop, and long term, that's going to allow us the opportunity to really kind of pick out matchups and give us winning football on the offensive side of the ball. So for us to, kind of work through some things in the passing game a little bit there, and do a lot of it in the game. In the game against McLane was, I felt very important. Felt very very happy with Colby's development. Very happy for the receivers, and excited to see that continue to develop as we get into the season.
Now, Coach, we've seen 2 games this season. We've seen one go completely mostly the way you wanted. We've seen one game go quite the opposite. So let's get to a tough question here for you. Let's put you in the hot seat for a minute for the fans. When you're on the sidelines with your coaches, with Gunny and everybody else, what is one of the toughest decisions game time live that when you're presented with a moment that you find yourself really considering the options because everything matters?
Mm-hmm. That's a really, really good question. There's a lot of different situations that come up in every game. I will say most of the high pressure situations, it's actually generally a pretty simple call because we've already thought those things through as a staff, or there's been active communication throughout the game as a staff. Um, and so we generally have a pretty good idea of what we're trying to do. Um, so it's like fourth down calls. We've already kind of talked through those, and we want to see certain things and certain looks. And if we get a different look than we're expecting, sometimes, you know, that forces us to, call a timeout, whatever. Um, but generally we have a pretty good idea what we're doing there. I think, uh, you know, it's like half joking, but it does sometimes, seem to be an issue is, uh, what's the first down call on offense, because a lot of times that first down call really kind of sets the tone for the rest of the drive, and then the play calls following after that. And so, in the past, I have taken a delay a game because I can't seem to make up my mind on it. And there's different things that we're addressing. And then the other one is defensively. If we're getting ripped apart and exposed on defense, that sometimes will cause chaos because everyone's trying to figure out where are we getting ripped apart, what's happening, and so that process of trying to identify the issue while it's happening can cause chaos on the staff sometimes. And so, when it's happening a lot, like at Bakersfield Christian, it can cause a lot of different stresses on the staff, and that's where a lot of very positive, proactive communication. That's where the chain of command really comes into effect. Everyone kind of, coaches included, everyone doing your job. Hey, coach. Every coach has an individual that they're supposed to be watching and looking at, and it helps us. It helps me as the head coach quickly identify what are the issues, how what are we adjusting. Our defensive coordinator can make his adjustments, and so um, you know when those things aren't happening, when people are doing too many things, trying to in the chaotic moments, people start trying to do other people's jobs, trying to just fix the solution or fix the issue. Sometimes that creates a lot of chaos, and so chain of command is important for us. It's how we operate efficiently, and those seem to be the two most situations that cause issues for us. So,
Now, Coach, I told you before that we went live here that I had a question that I remembered and then I forgot about, and I remembered while we were in the middle of the show. Great timing. And this one's a little bit more lighthearted.
mhm.
This past weekend, one of your players made a trip to Reno, Nevada. Not a typical place a 17-year-old might visit. But this time of year, it's practical, and that'd be RJ Esmon, who's highly recruited on the West Coast by a lot of Mountain West Conference teams and others throughout the West Coast, including Cal Poly. I want to give Cal Poly a shout out there for recruiting a hometown kid.
Yeah.
He was out at the University of Nevada, Reno, with fellow Royal Carlton Brown III getting the treatment of royalty there. Talk about that image. I saw them together. That just made me smile. I'm sure it did even more wonders for you because both of those coming out of your program, both those young men.
It was very very cool to see that. And it's I think I all I could think of in the moment when I saw that picture was just how thankful I was that the Lord has continued to show favor to our program and blessed us in so many different ways. There was a point, not too long ago, a couple years ago, where this thing really could have gone sideways, and instead, it's gone in a very, very positive direction, obviously. And Asani at San Jose, Carlton at Nevada, Dalton's at Wyoming, Brian Coles at UCLA. There's just a number of kids that have kind of almost set the tone for us, and just helped reestablish a power dynamic in the college recruiting game that has opened up a lot of doors for other kids. I remain so thankful for those four. I remain so thankful for Braden Farr. He was the first one to get an offer, and Chase Jones, back when we were still 8-man football. And all I could think in that moment was just like, man, this is just, the very special, very thankful moment of Lord showing us a lot of favor, and I continue to be just deeply thankful for that. I know Carlton had a great time with RJ. Those two have known each other for a long time. They have a great relationship, and I know RJ is going through a lot of. This is the recruiting process. It's awesome. You only get to do it once, and he's got a little bit of a chaotic situation there with everybody kind of blowing him up all the time. And I know the college recruiting process for him is not done yet. He's got a lot of decisions still to make, and he's still trying to gather a lot of information about every school. So I'm very proud of him. I feel like he's really been the poster child for handling this thing the right way. He'll probably be the template that I use for everybody moving forward in terms of how to do this the right way. He's been real methodical. He's been real quiet, not real flashy about this. It's not really focused on what he, like all of his, different desires. He's truly sitting there trying to go, what's the best decision for me and for my family, and um, what's going to serve me best. I will say I've been really pleased and very thankful for his relationship with Cal Poly. That actually does mean a lot to me and to our program. We have at least we feel like we've got a great relationship with Cal Poly. I don't know if he's going there or not, but I've been very appreciative of the fact that he's been very proactive with them. And he feels very highly about them. I know he really likes Coach Wolf and Coach Baldwin, and there's a number of different things going on that I remain very proud of him, and for the kids who are at for Asani and Carlton and all the rest of them, I remain so thankful for the way they represent us, and the way they continue to open doors for other kids. So
Well, my rooting is either any Mountain West school, because I'm a big proponent of the Mountain West, or Cal Poly. So if he's listening, RJ, those are my picks: any Mountain West school or Cal Poly, San Jose State. But Coach, let's move on to this Friday night. Traveling up to Santa Cruz County, getting hopefully out of the heat. We'll see how it goes as the heat has set in onto the West Coast pretty deep here. We are traveling up to Aptos to face the Mariners, and Aptos coming out of the Pacific Coast League, playing in the Gavilan League, the sub league Gavilan in the Pacific Coast League, kind of like the Mountain League and Ocean League in the Pacific and excuse me, in the I just drew a blank. Coach, what is your parent company called? uh,
uh,
Central Coast Athletic Association. There we go.
oh yeah,
There we
sorry.
go. The parent company there, Central Coast Athletic Association. Let's talk about this one real quick, Coach, and then we'll get out of here. Wrap this story up for the day. It's been a long one. Aptos, they're born in one, coming out of Santa Cruz County, the city of Aptos. They're coming looking for their second win, as so are the Royals. Talk about this matchup, Coach.
Yeah, they're. Uh, I think it probably would be good to give some context to people. We scheduled this game uh, with intention, fully understanding they are on a very different level than we are. They're kind of in the same category with Bakersfield, Bullard, some of those types of just powerhouse programs. To give everyone perspective, when they went to playoffs last year, they played St. Francis Mountain View. And if you don't know who they are, that's okay. That's fine. St. Francis Mountain View beat De La Salle last year, and they were the first team in 30 something years, 32 years, to beat De La Salle in Northern California. And so there was a 32-year streak there with De La Salle where they had not lost to any Northern California team. And St. Francis Mountain View last year was the team to break that. That's who Aptos played in playoffs last year. That's to kind of give they're a slight notch down from De La Salle and St. Francis and Sarah and Folsom, like all those kind of programs. So that's the team that we're playing. They are a powerful program. Randy Blankenship is a Hall of Fame coach, over 300 wins, something like 12 section titles in his career. He's a Hall of Fame coach at 3 different schools, and they do things that very few people are able to pull off. They are very tough. They are very, very aggressive. They get off the ball in a legendary way. People will spend weeks and weeks and weeks trying to prepare to deal with this team and the way that they run up to the ball and they snap the ball within 4 seconds and that thing is moving, and it's moving with some bad intentions too. Defensively, it's the same way, man. They've got a linebacker number 10 who we haven't seen anybody like him all year. We may not see anybody like him all year. He is really he reminds me, to be honest, of a little bit thicker version of Josh Henderson Jr., who's I coached at Grace Brethren for a couple of years, and he's now at Cal Poly. He looks like a Division I linebacker, and he's just all over the place, very physical at the point of attack. They've got a number of kids that way. They're great sides, and that's who we got to deal with. That's who we got to play. But we scheduled this on purpose. We really wanted to test ourselves against an opponent who runs the wing T and does it better than anybody else in the state. If you ask anybody in the state, there's probably 2 teams that you would say running the wing T offense. It would be Central Catholic or Cathedral Catholic down in San Diego, and then Aptos up here in Santa Cruz County. So we scheduled somebody on purpose. We're excited to test ourselves against them. This might be an ugly game, man. I don't know. My goals for this game are simply to see our level of physicality against a great opponent like them. Can we keep up our energy even if the game's not going great? And are we walking out of this game healthy? And so if I can do all 3 of those, then I feel like this will be a very positive game. We might get absolutely murdered in this game. I don't know. We might also make this really competitive. Who knows? But we're going to have to play an almost perfect football game for us to win this game. And I'm excited about that. That's a challenge for us. It's a challenge for us to get a lot better. It's going to be a great challenge for our defense. And then offensively, man, we've got to play excellent football. And that's going to be – hopefully this is an experience, that we – regardless of how the score goes, this is an experience that we can walk away from all year and go, okay, we know we can relate this back to Aptos and all the lessons learned from this game, positive and negative. So excited for it, excited to get up there and compete and see what this looks like. And, hopefully we come out of this in a positive way.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. Prep Sports Network will be there the entire way. You can catch us on YouTube or on our website, prepsportsnetworks.com. Stephen Hodges and I will be there in live and in color. Joining us will be Thomas Bowden on camera, and I believe Luke Jacobson will be there as well. We're running cameras. Great addition to our camera work last week. Able to get some tight shots and then wide shots on different aspects of the game last week. So we do appreciate him jumping on board with us. Coach, I want to give you final words before we depart.
Just want to thank everybody last week who was at the game. Great atmosphere. It was a great night. Had a great time just to get celebrating our team and the work that they put in with our whole community. And those are very special moments. There's only we're only guaranteed 5 of them in every year, and I'm very thankful for every one of those, and hopeful to see continued support and improvement here as we go along. So,
and coming up this Friday night, right here on Prep Sports Network, Friday, September 9th, 7 p.m. kickoff, prepsportsnetworks.com, PSNtv. Your Mission Prep Royals travel to the city of Aptos to play the Mariners in their final non-league contest of the year, looking to go 2-1. Extend their win streak to 2 games. For David Schuster, Chris Sylvester, I'm Brian Stanley. Tune in next week for the next Coach Show. Have a good day.